right, I'm recording.
All right, so we're going to be talking about Tesla, and I'm Seth,
I'm Ian.
and we're going to be getting into the strategic planning process, the business model strategic fit, their SWOT analysis, the competitor analysis, and then the strategy and Tesla's Ocean. So some of the things that are listed, we'll get into their modeling, their formulation, their execution and evaluation, their customer value proposition, their key resources and processes, their profit formula, the life cycle matrix, the dimensions of value, the strategic fit, and then we'll break down some of the key SWOTs on their SWOT analysis, and then we'll get into Ford and how their competitor analysis varies versus Tesla. And this will be shown in the next talk tracks.
Hi, my name is Ethan, and I'll be going over what we've learned this semester about a business strategy and how that kind of applies to Tesla and if what we've learned does apply to Tesla. So first, I'm going to start with the strategic planning process. So this process is 4 steps. There's modeling, formulation, execution, and evaluation. So first with modeling is a business model. So what does a business model consist of? It consists of 4 different pieces. Those are key resources, key processes, the CVP, which is the customer value proposition, and the profit formula. So how these 4 things work together are key resources and the key processes of a company. They work together to drive the customer value proposition, and they also, in that process, form the profit formula. Formulation, so you have to develop your strategy, you have to form your strategy, and this can be done by a SWOT analysis, so looking at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. And you want to look at what your customer needs are and how your company can apply the strategy to itself. And that also is with execution. So applying that strategy and actually implementing the process to the company and making sure that from the top to the bottom of the company, everyone in the company understands what the strategy is and how to implement it. And then evaluation. So using feedback to understand the effect of the strategy. And that can be done it can be done by asking employees, it can be done by customer feedback, but also through a balanced scorecard. So then when you are creating your strategy, you have to look at, like I said, when you're forming it, you have to look at what your customer needs are. And so customers have different dimensions of value, and we've categorized these into 4 different dimensions, which is functional, emotional, life-changing, and spiritual. So as far as a functional value that a Tesla would fulfill, a Tesla vehicle would be transportation. That is very basic and very consistent across all their products. Emotionally, Teslas, they fulfill a need of environmental consciousness. So being able to know that you're not creating pollution and emissions and emitting that into the world is something that people emotionally will feel better about themselves. Life changing. So as far as status and social group, so that would be basically that if you buy a Tesla, it is viewed as a luxury or at least a nicer vehicle. And so people may view you differently. You may view yourself differently, and that can up your status and your social standing in your life. Spiritually, we didn't find anything that the Tesla fulfills. So we put that it is not applicable to a spiritual value. So now looking at Tesla's strategy. So Tesla's CVP, their customer value proposition, is innovative technology. And when they looked at what their customer needs were, they looked at, I think the biggest thing that people look for in Teslas is they look for a car that is not like any other car that they have on the market or that they can find on the market. Tesla tries to stay ahead of the game technologically with constantly coming out with not only new technology, but improvements to their already existing technology. And so 4 big marketing pushes that Tesla implements in their strategy is an income basis. So they look, like I said, it's looked at as a luxury vehicle and something that would put you in a higher class. So they try to market their vehicles to people in a higher social class or a higher income class. The design, it is very minimalistic and distinct. It is, if you see the inside of a Tesla, you know it is a Tesla just because of the way it looks. It's a very sleek and futuristic look, and that can kind of go into the innovative technology because people will see that and just relate it to a newer, futuristic, if you will, looking car. Sustainability, clean energy. So they market to people who want to keep the environment clean, and they obviously Tesla is an electric vehicle, so they push that. And lastly, performance. Tesla, it is an electric car, and they look for good technology, and that technology also goes into how fast the car is. It is one of the fastest cars. It has a high top speed, but specifically the 0 to 60 time is one of the fastest cars on the market right now. So those are just 4 of the markets that in Tesla strategy they are looking to market to those specific groups of people. And then strategic fit. So this kind of goes into the evaluation part. You look at how your company runs. That is the strategy you have, what I just went over in Tesla strategy, and how does that fit into their company, and how does their company work to promote that strategy. So there are 3 there are 3 things that you have to look through. The first one is basic consistency. So are all the activities aligned with each other and the customer value proposition? Then you look at reinforcement. So activities that complement each other and they raise the value of each other and everything around them. And then optimization. So do they reduce waste and promote efficiency in the company? So basically, basic consistency for Tesla, it does. This does apply and this does work with their strategy. So you look through the different activities in the company and do they promote the customer value proposition, which is innovative technology? They do. Tesla is constantly trying to come up with new ideas and new markets to find and promote in their products. And they also, so one of the things that they do to keep new technology is it's not necessarily new technology, but it's improvements on their already existing technology. They have software updates in their cars that you can just download from home and it improves the car. Reinforcement. Do the activities complement and raise the value of each other? This is also something that Tesla does. Their innovative technology is not limited just to their products, but it's also applied into their processes and their factories and their manufacturing. They are always looking to improve the machines that they have and use new technology that not only is quicker and more efficient, but is more environmentally friendly. And then optimization, reduce waste, and promote efficiency. So this kind of ties into the reinforcement. Their products they're always looking to make something that's better, especially with their manufacturing. They're always looking for ways to do it faster, and this is done through vertical integration too. They reduce the third party of getting like materials from third parties, and they just go straight through. They'll buy mines and they'll get their materials from themselves. But this also does kind of make it inefficient because Tesla does deal with some supply chain issues and meeting demands. So that is what I have gone over, and then Brett is going to go over kind of the second half of what we think.
So next we're going to go into Brett's talk track.
Hello, my name is Brett Tanis, and I will be going over Tesla's competitor analysis to Ford, their SWOT analysis, and the relationships that they have within the target quadrant that we walked through. So first of all, our competitor analysis. Let's take a look at Tesla first. Tesla, they excel in innovation. That is their mission. That is what they stand for. That is what they're good at. They take a lot of pride in the product that they put out for their customers. And their staple is being different, is having this futuristic design, and this brand that you can't miss, that you know exactly, what it looks like, and it has this high end value because of it. They are set apart in that they are all electric. They have always been all electric. And just through that, they've been able to innovate and create an incredible product. And because of that, other companies are fighting to catch up. They are a very, very well known brand. Their brand is known for being that futuristic brand. Their brand is known for being high end and luxury. And that's what people look for, in a nice product. I know a lot of people whose parents own Teslas, and it is a status thing to own a Tesla. It is a statement. And so on top of that, financially, Tesla, their main drawback is their financial uptake, their ability to meet the demands of their customers through their supply chain. They have vertical integration, which is an incredible business tool that they use, but because of that, they cannot meet the demand of their customers. As I mentioned before in our last presentation, they have 2 years worth of back orders on their new Cybertrucks. So they have high revenue, they bring in a lot of money, but they can only make as much money as they produce. Their numbers have been increasing yearly, but they still have a problem with meeting supply chain. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at Ford. Ford is a globally known brand. They unfortunately fell behind because of demand and business image problems. They have played catch up because of that. They had this auto strike, which lost them a lot of money, and because of that, they had to play catch up. And their goal by 2030 is to be all electric, but they had to completely change their business model and how they built their vehicles. They're a globally known brand. The idea of a Ford is this. When you think of Ford, you think of just America and this grunt work and getting the job done, like built Ford tough. Like it's just this mantra, this mindset. And it's not as high end. They sacrifice luxury for function and for high production. And so because of this, they are able to make a lot of money, much more than Tesla, because they have a wider market, they have a wider product line, and they reach different demographics, whereas Tesla is more of a high-end luxury brand. Ford is much more practical and functional across all income levels. And so in them working hard to repair their image, they have been able to work to build a better future for their company. And because of that, they make more money than Tesla. So financially, they leave Tesla in the dust. But it is because they operate in two different markets, whereas Ford is more functional and Tesla operates more in this high-end and luxury market. So let's take a look at Tesla's SWOT analysis. Their strengths, the company's strength, innovation, and leadership are the core of their company. Elon Musk is the lifeblood of Tesla. He and his innovation and his creative mind have created this product and this company that has been so beneficial to the general public and to just the world of electric vehicles and green energy and the way the world is kind of shifting their focus towards that. In a more strategic sense, their facilities through vertical integration are a wonderful way to save money, since they don't have to outsource their products or how they produce their products. And two more strengths are their intellectual property and encouraging innovation. This enables them to create new products and to innovate in new ways and to keep this healthy competitive atmosphere within the company. Their financial strength, this enables them. They have a lot of financial strength. Every cent that Elon Musk makes from selling Teslas, he just invests right back into the company. They spend almost no money on marketing. People just know the brand because of its prestige. With that comes weaknesses. As I mentioned before, supply chain management, they have trouble meeting demand. The demand for Teslas are so high that they cannot meet them, which is a fantastic problem to have, but it's tough to do that, to meet those standards. Opportunities, their environment. It is the core of who they are. They are environmentally focused. Their brand is built off of clean energy, a clean future, and at the same time, socially, they have reached a huge market. Everyone knows what a Tesla is. It's a nice car. Even if you can't afford it, you still know what it is, and they have the ability to reach a huge market through that. Threats, legal awareness. Elon Musk has a ton of patents, but with their new autonomous driving technology, there's a huge potential for lawsuits and people who don't trust the product, people who are scared of this futuristic change that Elon Musk has just jumped into with both feet. And so that those can operate as threats for a company like Tesla. Now let's look at those quadrant relationships that we looked at in the target that we built earlier. Within the target, we have a good thing within innovation and facilities and intellectual property equaling financial strength because of the innovation of Tesla and the facilities they have through vertical integration and this encouragement to innovate, to own their ideas. This gives them such a freedom financially to just pour all their money into R&D and to develop this incredible product. Recently, they have gone into this new battery technology and this thing called gigacasting. And gigacasting is where they're able to essentially mold the parts of the car in bigger chunks to streamline production. In a bad way within the quadrant relationships, politics. They've made it difficult to export their products efficiently. Because of politics, it is hard for them to have this progress in other countries, in foreign countries. Foreign policy has made it difficult for Tesla to engage in foreign trade and selling. In cross quadrant relationships, leadership supports progressive technology and enables Tesla to reach demographics. Elon Musk's leadership of Tesla supports this competitive atmosphere in the company to progress, always to be looking to move forward in this technology that they have built. And this enables Tesla to reach so many different demographics. Their product is so widely known, but so highly demanded, but not in high supply. And this is so beneficial for their company because they will always have a product to give out and people to buy it. So that is Tesla's competitor analysis with Ford, their SWOT analysis, and their quadrant relationships. Thank you.
Okay, Seth is going to continue it from here, and then I'll pick up after Seth.
So I'm going to get into the blue ocean and the red ocean. So the definition of a blue ocean is the unknown and untapped market space that exists within industries. So for a while, Tesla was in this blue ocean when they first hit the market because no electric vehicle had done anything like they were trying to do with the modern technology they were using and the modern look on their cars. And they ran it. And so basically being in a blue ocean is that you're in your own little industry. And as Dr. Deloach has described it, in the red ocean, it's like the blood in the ocean, and you have a bunch of sharks in there. So the red ocean there's a bunch of different competition in the same industry, and you're just competing to try to outperform each other. And there's a lot of different tactics to get into the blue ocean, but Tesla was able to do that very well. Um, their high-end vehicles were very big for them because they had a high-end price and then they had a low-end price. So they hit two different targets, and this helped them reach that blue ocean that a lot of these electric vehicle automotive companies weren't able to do.
You good, Seth?
Yes.
Okay.
And then getting into the strategy canvas, this is a map that we did. It has to do with our competitor Ford. So we wrote out some of the key competing factors such as cost, innovation, environmental impact, brand, customization, quality, global, and then autonomous driving and fuel costs. And what we did was we compared our company to Ford. And so as you can see in the chart, we were higher than Ford in a lot of aspects, but lower in that would have been customization. So Ford has been a well-known brand for a while, which is why our brand was very close to Ford's. But we feel that because they've been known for so long and we're ahead of Tesla just with the automotive industry in general, their brand is higher than ours. But as you can see, we're very high on the environmental impact and innovation, as that's what Brett mentioned earlier that Tesla excels in and puts themselves ahead of competitors in. When getting into the last three, so that's what really pulls Tesla away and something that they're doing newer. And so the autonomous driving, as you can see, is very high, which is something we'll talk about in the next slide. But autonomous driving is something that Tesla's the first to really install in all of their vehicles. So next, we'll be getting into another strategy talking about autonomous driving.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the feasibility matrix. Our strategy was to put autonomous driving and more specifically into like delivery cars and even the possible idea of getting into farming. So it says when developing this product, would this be operationally feasible? We had this in mostly green because due to Tesla's facilities and their intellectual property, we feel that it would be operationally feasible and that it wouldn't take them too long to do this either. So that's why time feasible is in the yellow, because as any project's going to take, it's going to take time. So we think that it'd be worth the time. So that's why we didn't have it in the red. And we believe that with Tesla's intellectual property and facilities, that they could get it done in a timely manner. Financially feasible is very green. As Brett mentioned, Tesla's biggest strength is their financial strength, and that's due to a lot of different reasons. But yeah, so we ended up saying that autonomous driving would be huge for them and that it would be implemented with their strategy.
So this is our value risk matrix. When I made this, I thought out through kind of the time that it would take Tesla to make this and implement it, and then the value that it would have when it was completed. And we're gonna get into the Gantt chart here in a minute, but we used AI to help us kind of predict the time it would take, and in total through the research, development, prototype, pilot phase, before we really get it out there where it's like standard across the board for the different types of autonomous driving that Tesla can offer, it would be over 5 years. So it's going to offer like still a high value, and it's not going to be as high value as it would if it were to be implemented in this year, 2024, or next year in 2025. But I did also mark it in the higher end of low risk because there is risk associated with it because no one else has really tried anything like this before, but it is semi low risk because they're the first people to do it. So it's not like they're going in against competition and they have the risk of failure because if they don't fail, they're still kind of paving the way for like what's going to come in the future. So this is our Gantt chart and it shows the implementation of fully autonomous driving broken down into 5 different phases, and in each phase there's different steps. So the first phase being research and development, and in the research and development is going to be the prototype phase, and that's going to take up most of the time in the research and development because before you can start developing software and implementing it into cars, you got to get a prototype out there. Um, Once that's finished, it's going to take over a year just for the software development and creating user application and remote monitoring from like Tesla's home base that they can monitor all the cars wherever they are, I guess globally. Infrastructure setup, that's really not going to take too long. They're going to have to up their charging infrastructures that they have across the US and other nations and the communication network because it is a different type of communication in the cars. But because they are so advanced infrastructurally, they have a lot of opportunity here and they can utilize that. The longest part is going to be the deployment and scaling because there's going to be at least a year, year and a half pilot program of introducing it into few cars and few areas and getting results from that. And then the gradual expansion is actually going to be, you can't see it on this chart, but at least 2 years to really show, or to really scale it out and start putting it in other places, not just wherever they had the pilot program. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Balance Scorecard and what it is. So basically the Balance Scorecard is just another way for companies to kind of judge and scale the success of their business. This is actually from my notes. It says that the Balance Scorecard is a supplement for traditional financial measures that companies would measure their performance with an addition of 3 new perspectives, and these are customers, internal business processes, and learning and growth. Because financial is a huge piece of understanding a company's health, but there's so much more that goes into a business besides just numbers, and that's what the Balance Scorecard is here for. So we came up with a Balance Scorecard for Tesla, and we came up with a few objectives that we thought they could implement. And examples of a financial objective for Tesla would just be the goal to reduce the cost of vehicle production of 3 to 5% through the next 1 to 3 years. An example of an internal business objective would just lower the labor required on electric vehicle batteries by 10%. And an initiative for this would just be improve robot functions and manual labor required. This could be through training, new engineering on the robot side. An example of a learning and growth objective would just be a goal to have continuous employee training, whether that be something on the HR side or just monthly training that all employees have to go through. And our last example would be a customer objective, and that would just be improving customer satisfaction by 5% for the next year. Because, like Ethan talked about in his talk track, there are problems with Tesla's supply chain, and that often leads to upset customers. So, any step in the right direction for improving customer satisfaction is a huge win for Tesla.
So lastly, we're going to get into basically a real world balance scorecard. This is just an example with some made up numbers, but it just basically debriefs what all the objectives are and how they measure that, and it gives you 1 and 3 year targets for this, as Ian just stated. Um, it talks about, like an example of financial, like he said, you're trying to increase your market share. For your customer, you're trying to widen your market and get surveys out to increase your customer satisfaction. When talking about learning and growth, you want your brand to expand, obviously. Tesla's expanding a lot, and that's why they reach demographics so well. So that's big for them. Internal business process is to improve marketing to new audiences. As I just mentioned, that's what they're really working on, is spreading across the world, not just the United States. So that's the basis of the real world balance scorecard, and that's our presentation.
Ben, we'd love to hear if you have any feedback or anything that stuck out to you.
I think you guys did great. You explained everything pretty well. I understood just about everything you're talking about. I think Tesla was a great company to pick, and you guys did very well. I'm proud of you, and glad I got to work with you this semester.
Thank you.
Ben?
Yeah, not a problem.
All right. The sharing's off. Oh, wait, but the recording's still going.